Hello guys, welcome to our today's tutorial. In our today's tutorial, we want to look at text functions. Text functions. Text functions can be useful when we are trying to clean up data. As a data analyst, there are several cases where you will need serious work to be done. And having good knowledge of text function in Excel will help you a lot. In today's class, we want to look at the elementary aspect of text function. Take note, text function is not an elementary topic in Excel. Text function is an advanced Excel topic. So in our class today, we will try to look at some of these text function. I will not want this video to be too long, so we will try to split this video to cover all the text function. In today's class, we'll look at some of them, and then in the next class, we'll look at the other aspect of the text function. Among the text functions we want to look at, we have concatenate, find, search, upper, lower, proper, right, left, mid, trim, len, replace, among others. I remain your tutor for this class, Sir Josh. So let's look at what we have to do today. In this class, we have a template that we want to use. Now let's assume you have this record. In this record, I have a total of about 3,000 record here. 3,000 record. Now, in this 3,000 record, let's say you are working in an organization and the organization have a need to come up with something like a full name for the users they have in this very sheet. Now what we have here is column B has the first name of the users. Column C have the last name of the user. We don't have a full name for the user. So what do? Are we going to retype this work? So we can use something called concatenate. Concatenate. So to do this, to generate the full name for the users, we are going to use two methods. One is using the functions, and then the second one is to use the formula. Now we'll talk about using function. Go to the menu bar, you have formula. Under formula you have text, then we have concatenate. When you click on concatenate, you have a dialog box like this. In this dialog box, we want to concatenate, that is, we want to join text B, that is B2 and text C2 together. So what do? Text 1, Excel is asking what do you want as your text 1. So in this case now, what do we want as our text 1? Text 1 is definitely going to be B2. Now text 1 is B2, accepted. Now what about text 2? Text 2, I know somebody will say text 2 is going to be C2. But look at what is happening here. That is a sample here. If you put text 2 as C2, this is what is going to happen. It's going to jam the two names together without a space. So what we need is, we need a space to come in between the text 1 and text 2. So how do we get that? What we need to do is to introduce a space by using double quote, space, double quote. That is our text 2. Text 3 is now going to be whatever we have in cell C2. Now, if we have the other names, we can continue. But remember, you use a space to introduce a space in between those names. Now, when we click on OK, that will concatenate this name for us. When you use your autofill to drag down, that will automatically concatenate the names for us. That is what we can do using concatenation as a text function. Now, apart from doing this using function, we can as well use formula to get this done. And if we want to use formula, what is the formula? For the formula, we are going to do equal the cell we want to concatenate. That is, the first cell is B2, so equal B2, and then we are now going to use the impersonation sign, which is the and sign. Now we impersonate that with double quote, space, double quote. And then we also impersonate that with the record we have in a cell C2. So impersonate this. So when you hit your enter key, take note, what we've just done is to pick whatever is in B2, add it, impersonate that with a space, and then impersonate that with whatever is in C2. So press your enter key. That will give us the same answer as we have previously. So when you use your autofill, that will automatically fill down this for you. Now take note, what I've done here is double click on this very autofill instead of clicking and drag down. When you double click, it will automatically fill it down to the last column, which is the 3000 column automatically filled up. But one more thing we need to do here. If you look at the text here, when you look at the formula bar here, what is showing here is the formula and not the text. So we need to get rid of that. So what you do is hold down. I want to highlight everything from here down to the bottom. I can use a shortcut key, which is Control, Shift, and down arrow key. That will automatically highlight everything to the bottom. And to copy it, I'll use Control C to copy it. Then I'll paste this as a value. I'll paste it as value. So what we can do here is that I can right click here and then paste value, or go to paste special. When you click on paste special, you see these very one values. That is the only thing we need. It will eliminate every function, every formula, every format, and we paste just the value. So that is what we want, value. So if you look at it now, we have what? Just the value. So this is how we can generate the full name. The second thing we have here is in column E. Now what we want in column E is that the record here, they are all in title case. The first character is in capital letter while the rest are in small letter. Now we want everything to be in capital letter. If you are working in Microsoft Word, it is an easier step to be done. All you need to do is just highlight and then go to your menu bar. You can just simply change the format. Now, but in this case, in Microsoft Excel, you don't have that. So we need a function to be able to do that. And the function we need is called upper. So let's see what we can do here. Equal upper. Equal upper. Open bracket. The cell we want to change, which is D2. Then close your bracket. Enter key. When you do that, it automatically changes everything to capital letter. That is using what? Function. Equal upper. Equal upper. Let me repeat that. Equal upper. Open bracket. Then the cell, the text you want to change to upper. In this case, the text I want to change to upper is the text I have inside cell D2. So I can do that and press my enter key, and that will give me everything in capital letter. Now when I autofill, everything will be changed to capital letter for me. That is upper. Now the next thing we want to look at is lower. What if the record here, they are already in capital letter, and let's say we are giving this record in capital letter and they want us to change everything to small letter. That is lowercase. So in this case now we are going to use an Excel function called lower, equal lower, equal lower. Then you open brackets and then enter the text you want. The text I want is what we have in cell E2. So I enter E2, close the bracket and press my enter key. That will change everything to small letter. When I have to fill, everything will be changed to small letter for me. Now the next thing we want to look at is proper. In this case, let's say I have everything in small letter and they want me to put everything in title case. That is to say, the first letter will be in capital letter while the rest in small letter. X will be in capital letter, X will be in capital letter, and the rest will be in small letter. To do that, we are going to use the Excel function called proper, equal proper, equal proper, open bracket, the cell address which is F2, and then I'll close my bracket, hit my enter key, and that does it for me. Now we have changed this to title case. That is equal. So now this record we have here, let's eliminate the values that are here. We can eliminate the values that are here. So to eliminate that, to eliminate the function and get it back to value, I've used my Ctrl Shift and down arrow key to highlight. So I want to copy this by using my Ctrl C and then come back, paste value. This other method we can do that. So we have the record in this way. Now I want us to do one more thing here. One more thing we need to do here. Now let's say we were given this record in this way. We were given this record in this way. Now they want us to separate the record into first name and last name. That is the reverse is the case. How do we do that? We can do that using our text to column, using our function called text to column. So what do you do? First of all, highlight the record you want to change to column. Now I've highlighted the record using my shortcut keys, Ctrl Shift and down arrow key. Now where do we find text to column? Go to your menu bar, you have data, click on data. Under data we'll have text to column. Click on text to column. Now when you click on text to column, you have a dialog box like this. The dialog box have 3 steps. The first step is to choose what you want to do. What we want to do in this case is to delimitate. We want to delimitate. Now if we want to delimitate, choose that we are not facing width in this very option. So click on delimitate and then click on next. When you click on next, Excel is asking you what criteria do you want to use to delimitate. Is it going to be tab? Is it going to be semicolon? Is it going to be comma, space, maybe others, characters that are not specified. Now what do we mean by the character we want to use to delimitate? Look at this now. I have Scott here and I have a space here and I have the other name here. I have Stanley here, I have space here, I have Lewis here. So I want Excel to look at anywhere you find a space, cut for me. Anywhere you find a space, delimitate for me. So I'm going to use space as my criteria. If you look at my data preview, it's already showing me how the data is going to look like. So I'll click on next. Now this is how I want the data to be. I can decide to specify that I want them to be in text, the result to be in text or general. Now if your result is going to be in date, you choose date. But in my case here, the result is going to be in text. So we click on finish. And okay, it's telling me there are some record existing, no problem here. So we have this now done. So we have the name separated into different columns. That is how we can delimitate using the text to function. Now, the next thing we want to look at is length. Length. Let's say we want to, I want to hide these two. I want to hide these ones. Okay, let me hide this. Let me hide this. I want to use this. Okay. Now, let's say I want to find the length of the full name. I want to find the length of the full name. So if I want to find the length of text in this very cell D2, what do? We use equal what? Len. That is the function to find the length of record in a cell. So we use equal len. The cell I want to find is D2, and then we close the bracket and press our enter key. It's telling me 14. That is to tell us that we have 14 characters inside cell D2. Now, one more thing I need to draw our attention to. Let's count what we have here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now the characters are 13, but why are we having 14 here? That is because Excel will always count the space as a character. So the space in between these two names is counted as a character. So for instance now, if at the end of this very name, somebody gives space at the end of this very name, let's say I give 1, 2, 3 space. Excel is going to tell me that I have 17 characters here. Let's look at that. When you look at this, we have 17. That is to tell you that Excel is counting all the space that I have there. So take note, Excel is going to count together with the space. That is what we can do using the len function. Now, the next thing we want to look at here is the find function. We have a function called find. Now I want to hide this. Okay, let me hide this and this. Let me hide this and this. Okay, so we have a function here called find, and then we have another one here called search. Now let's look at these two functions. Find will help you to find a particular character or anything in a particular cell. Now let's say I want to find something in this cell D2. So what I can do now is I can do something like equal find open bracket. What am I looking for? Whatever I'm looking for, I put it in double quotes. Now let's say I'm looking for S. So I'm going to put that S in double quote space. Double quote the S and then close quote. Now comma inside cell D2, and then I'll close my bracket. When I press my enter key, I have value. No. Now why am I having value? Let's autofill this and see. When you autofill this, you find out that some cases you don't have value here. So let's see what happened here. There is S here, there is S here, there is S here. But Excel is telling me, my find is telling me that there is no S. But when you come here, it saw S here, it did not detect it, but it saw S here and it detected it. That is at position 13. What it means is that Excel is telling us that it finds S in column D, in cell D3, and that S is located in position 13. But how come that it did not find S here? Okay, we'll talk about that. Now look at here, it found S here in Christopher, and that is occupying position 5. Now, the same function we have used, that is the function we have used here. Let's use the same function over here and see what happens. Equal. Now we are going to use equal search, equal search, open bracket. The same thing we did, double quote, small letter s, close quote, comma, D2. That is the cell we want to work with. D2. D2. We close our bracket. Enter. How come we are having 1, but here we are having value? If I use my autofill now and fill here, you find that here is giving us the same thing. Here is giving us a different value. Here is giving us a different value. Here is giving us a different value. Now let's see what happened. What happened here is find is case sensitive. Find is case sensitive. What we use is small letter s, and find is looking for exact thing we use, which is small letter s. But search is not case sensitive. Search is going to search the record and tell us the position where it saw the first letter s. Here is sensitive. So as it being we use something like capital letter S, find will give us the answer. Now let's try that and see. Equal find, open bracket, double quote, capital letter S, double quote, comma, D2. Close our bracket. Find will be happy with this to give us the same result. That's to tell you that find is case sensitive, but search is non-case sensitive. So when you find, it's going to, if you look at what happened here now, we have S here, we have S here, but it's going to tell us the position it saw the first letter S. The same thing with search. It's going to tell us the position it saw the first letter S. If you look at this, the position it saw the first letter S is position 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have it at position 5. So we've talked about text to column, we've talked about find, we've talked about search. One more thing we'll talk about here is this. Let's say we have the gender here and they want us to pick just the first character of each gender. So to pick the first character of each gender, we have male. So male should be represented with M, female should be represented with F. So what we need to do now is we want to use a formula called left. So let's do this. Equal left, open bracket. The cell we want to pick from, that's the text we want to pick. I have the text in M2, comma, then the number of character I want to pick. I'll close my bracket. Let me explain this. This is what I've just told Excel to do now. Go to the left hand side of cell M2 and pick the first character for me. Go to the left hand side of cell M2 and pick the first character, just one character for me. When I hit my enter key, that will give me M. And when I use my autofill, that will give me all I need. But we have another case here. This person did not specify the gender, so we have others. In this case now, let's say we have been told to replace the others with male. So we can use an Excel function to get that done for us. Now if I want to get rid of my function from this very cell, so I'll copy that. I'll copy this and then I'll paste value. Paste value. So to find, to get rid of the the O, what I need to do is go to my home menu. Go to my home menu. At the extreme end of your home menu, you will find something called Find and Select. Click on Find and Select. When you click on Find and Select, you will find something like Find, Replace, Go To, and the rest. This is what we want to use, Replace. Click on Replace. When you click on Replace, what are you looking for? Excel is asking you what you are looking for. What we are looking for is, we are looking for O. We are looking for O, and we want to replace all the O we have there with M. Please take note, when you want to do this, highlight the record you want to do this, want to work with. If you don't highlight the record, it will look for O in the whole of this sheet, and all the O in this sheet, it will change them to M. Take note, this can be very, very tricky. Sometimes I had issues like this where I gave a job to a junior staff and he brought out the job and everything was messed up. So always take note of things like this. If you want to find and replace, highlight the record you want to find and replace, and then enter your find and then enter your replace, and then click on Replace All. And here we are told it has replaced 1003 record. Click OK and I close this. So you find that all the O's are gone and everything is now M. So what have we been able to achieve in this very class? If you look at what we have done here, let's go to our text formula, our text. So under the text formula we have this. Here we have concatenate. We've talked about concatenate. We've talked about find. We've talked about left. We've talked about len. We've talked about lower. We've talked about proper. We've talked about replace. We've talked about search. I think we've talked about upper somewhere down. Okay, we've talked about upper. So you find that all we have been discussing, you have them under the menu. Now, if you have been able to learn anything from today's video, help me click the like button, click the subscribe button, and then click on the notification bell, so that by the time we go to the next class, where we'll be talking about the other things like mid, trim, right, and more that we need to talk about. So thank you very much. I will see you in our next class.